Wait, what are you doing?
Give me 1 second. I have to send this text to Katie. And done.
Done. All right, recording the whole time.
Oh, have you really? Oh.
Hey, kinfolk. So here's how we're gonna make that armor stand. And I've been meaning to do one for myself for a long time. And well, my buddy Micah really needed to get one done. And now's a perfect time to actually make a test run at this. I'm pretty sure it'll work, and I don't think it'll take a lot of time. And it's not really gonna take a lot of materials. So let's get started. Okay, so I want this overall thing to be about 5 feet. So yeah, you want to put it right on that line there. Boom. Right there. Now, you're ready to cut. Now that we've made our mark, we're about to cut it, or Micah is, and make sure you use your hearing protection, because once your hearing is gone, you can't get it back. There's no fixing it. So be sure to protect yourself. We got to cut the 2x2 up into two pieces. Well, we only need 2 pieces off of this, so we're going to cut out a 12-inch piece and a 9-inch piece. So we're going to measure one and then cut it, and then measure the other one and cut it. So here we go. This, I was planning on this to be a part of the shoulder part of the whole stand, and it's just too narrow for the shoulders. So let's cut, and we'll keep this for the bottom piece where we hang the legs, and we can recut the top piece, because we're going to have plenty of material. So, you know, if you screw up, oh well, this stuff is like maybe $3 or $4 per stick. It's really not a big deal if you screw it up. You just go buy another one. So we're going to measure this next one at 2 feet, and that's going to be the top where we're going to keep the torso armor, and the arms are going to hang off of that. So now we're going to cut the base. So we're just going to cut two 2-foot pieces for the base. Let's get that started. Measuring is really loud.
This, I don't know how to do it.
Ah, okay.
I am not a woodworker, in case you can't tell.
So this little device right here, you could basically have, this is how you work it here. You just got to untighten this little thing, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and you could slide it however length that you need it. And then when you got the length that you need, you can then just make your mark on that side of the ruler. Easy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, now that we got our cuts ready, we've got the stand, we've got the shoulders, got the legs, we got the base. So this is generally how it's going to go together. And so yeah, we just got to make our lap joint cuts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut just a little bit into the wood where this seats into it, and it'll hold it in place. And it'll just stay there forever. You know, even nuclear bombs won't be able to separate it. But okay, so
Don't hold him to that.
Right.
That might not be accurate.
Right. White pine is very durable. Okay. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. And same thing with the base. We're going to do the base in a very similar fashion. And but the base is going to come apart, and I'll show you about that a little bit later. But it's going to be a very simple build. Don't be afraid. It's really going to be quite easy. Just got to get it done. So we're going to about 10 inches down from the top. Right. Now that's going to be the top of our framing here. All right, so I want to put that there. I could probably do better than that because I don't want it to be too fat. So I want to be on the inside of those lines just to get a nice accurate measurement. It's another nifty little tool, way of like using this tool. So yeah, just a hair under, like a 32nd under an inch and a half. You want to take that and have it. So what's half of an inch and a half? Well, it's 3/4 of an inch. But again, we want to go just a hair under. Now this is going to be essential if you're doing this by hand. See, I can set the saw height to what I want. Alright, you got to do it the other side so I know I'm not off kilter at all. Well, I am. The doctors gave me medicine for that. So this is the area that we want to cut out, all of that. Alright. Just for fun, I'm going to, or Micah is going to cut just on the inside of that. Okay, so I'm going to, or Micah is going to make several cuts along here to remove some of the material and we can chip it out. And that whole void will be ready for our shoulder piece. Alright, Micah, so I want you to take this paint scraper and just stick it in that center line there. We're going to be a really satisfying sound.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That? Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you guys are going to need a paint scraper too. That's a real good tool to kind of like cut these out. So you notice that it's not entirely cleaned out. So we're going to use a razor knife for that. We got it cleaned out. So let's see how well that joint works. Oh, that's a nice tight joint. That's perfect right there. That'll work. So now we got to do the same thing on this side. So they kind of cut together like that. Let's try and cut this out because this knot goes from here to here, so it goes diagonally. So let's try and cut that out. It's right in the center of our cut. So one thing about these speed squares, you can get a saddle square. This is one of the purchases I'd like to get. So you can set it there, and then we can transfer that line to the other side perfectly. Now that we have our lines measured for the center of the board, we're going to line up that center line on this. I'm going to slide it in there. We have to, and kind of just suggest it go in there. Alright, so that looks like it's bottomed out. A little bit bottomed out there. So once we have that, we're going to take our mark, and you see there's like a gap there. We're going to flatten it up against the wood like that. And trace around this, because that's going to be the area we carve out of that piece of wood. So if we're not really happy with it, we can pull it back out. So pull it out, right? So there's probably some areas we can probably where it's rubbing, where it's not seating right. All right, so let's measure 20 inches from the bottom of that base piece. Now that base piece isn't attached yet, but no, from right where I had it. Cool. There we go.
Don't mess with it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Now we're gonna take this piece and line it up to that arrow.
Top of it.
Right? Alright. Now try and make that piece as square as possible because it's kind of wobbly. Well, both sides, remember?
Oh yeah.
So if you need to, you can always use the speed square to make sure that that piece is squared up. Well, like it gets the satisfaction.
So satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we want to glue the crap out of this thing.
All right.
You put them everywhere. Slather it in there. Alright, so we are just about done. We gotta let the glue dry before we do the final step. And but yeah, so we're gonna wait like a week. Generally the full cure time is about 24-48 hours, depending on temperature and humidity, all that stuff, blah blah blah. So we're gonna hit this up next week. So it'll be a full 7 days. For you guys, it's just gonna be a few seconds, an interesting transition, and then we'll be back at it to do the very final step, which is to get the final leg. So this won't stand on its own. So we need something, one more piece to put on this, and then it will be done. So, all right, kinfolk, so I'll see you in about 7 days or a few seconds. Later. All right, kinfolk, so it's been 2 weeks. I know I said 1 week, but here we are, 2 weeks, and the glue should be nice and set. That's not coming out. And so now we need to make the feet. So we got one in, we need to get the cross piece in. So we're gonna make a cut, and it's gonna be very similar to how we made these other lap joints. And so yeah, here we go. Okay, so the challenge is to get this steady enough to where we can cut it. So we need to brace it up against something. So I got these block clamps, and I'm going to set it here. Right. I'm going to clamp her down. Use these to clamp it to the bench. So a lot of this is just trying to make sure you secure your piece where you can work on it. But you know, want to do that, I'm going to put another one on the bottom here. put our foot on it, keep it from going anywhere. Find where in the center this is, and then same story, we want to line up those center lines with this and the other piece that's going right here. So let's get that started. Alright, so that's the piece we need to cut out and go about halfway down the piece here. Same thing for here, and then this will just basically just drop in, and that'll be your foot. It sounds simple, but you know. And this doesn't have to be super bow fiddle tight. It just has to get on there and stay on there because the weight of the piece itself and even the armor will kind of keep it together. You know, if you pick it up and move it, that leg might pop off. Okay, now because the saw, the hand or the skill saw, circular saw, can't go to the depth that we want, we got to do the rest with the hand saw, and that's not hard because most of the cut is done for you with the circular saw. So here we go. Alright, got a trusty rusty little tool, and it's an oscillating tool, so I'm going to try and use that as the plunge cut there. There we go. This is what we needed. Alright, it all cut out. And it should fit, so let's put her together. So it's pretty loose. You kind of knew that. If we want to tighten it up, we just put a shim in there or right up here. So it works. Voila, stands up. So it's pretty good. Bump into it in the middle of the night, it's not going to fall over on you.
I brought my armor so we can go and put it on here and see how it looks.
Right, we'll do a test run before we start finishing it. Everything's off the ground and it hasn't fallen over. It's done, all the major construction's done. Let's just start finishing it up. We're going to put a chamfer around the edge, and if you have it, if you don't, just a file and just roughing up the edge would do just fine. And that's real easy. You want to get like a little raspy file like that, real rough, and you can just kind of put a rough kind of edge around there, and then run a sander across it or just some sandpaper, and you're good to go. You know, you want to get some of the lettering that you get with the lumber off, but other than that, you know, it's up to you and what you want to do with your project and how you want to make it look. So at this point, we're going to do a chamfer because I've got it and I think it looks cool. So let's do it. Go. Okay, so we just got to get this stuff off of there, pencil marks, and on the other side here we got to get those letters off. Really simple stuff. It's a bit tedious, but it'll come right off. And then after that you can stain it however you want, and we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to cut some notches in here for the straps to kind of hang on to. So say if you're hanging your greaves or some van braces, whatever you want to put here, the straps can hang off this little notch here, and it's not going to slide off on you in the middle of the night or whatever. Say you bump into it or whatever. That's going to keep it in place. Smooth it out. Don't break those edges. Nothing too sharp. There you go. Then you want to do that for all 4 sides. So 1 up here and the 2 above. And you're pretty much ready to stain this and call it good. Alright, kinfolk, so that is the tutorial as of right now. So I shot that last year and I just haven't had the time to really mess with it, and it did have some problems. But I digress. It's a pretty cool build, and I actually have plans on making it a simpler and even cooler than that one. So, you know, whenever you do stuff, you kind of look back like, I could have done that better, and that's no exception for this one. It looks great and it works great, but it could be better. So look forward to the next one that's coming. So hey, if you guys like this video, thumbs up, all that good stuff. It really does help me out. It does give me encouragement, and it keeps motivating me to make more videos. And a lot of you know I've been going through a funk, and well, that would help me along to kind of get out of that funk. So yeah, check out all the links down in my description if you want to donate to Patreon or my Ko-Fi. Definitely check out my Etsy store. I prefer you to buy stuff there, and really just kind of buy the merch that I make. That really goes a long way to help support the channel and buy new gear and help me travel to events, and hopefully when the pandemic raises. Anyways, all that being said, that's all I got for you today, droids. I'm going to send you home to be humble, be helpful, be honorable. Thanks for watching.